Welcome to the Daily Neitz, a daily look at classic films, modern cinema, and the world of Los Angeles theater again. Yeah, we went and saw a play again, a play called Seascape with Sharks and Dancer. I have to have the program right in front of me because that is a tough title to remember which words are plural and which are not. But yeah, this was over at my old studio, starring London Thor and Adam Lopez, and it was an interesting evening.
Yes.
I don't think we 100% agree on the play itself.
No, not at all. Like 50% at most.
Yeah. What we do agree on is that the performances by the actors were fantastic. Both London and Adam were stellar.
Spot on.
Fantastic. And it's a two-person 90-minute play, which from experience is like...
It's rough.
Really tough to do.
There's a lot of words. Most of them, the vast majority of them, spoken by London.
Yes.
Which
she just doesn't stop talking.
For those of you who are unfamiliar with the play, Seascape with Sharks and Dancer is about the burgeoning relationship of Ben and Tracy.
Yes.
Ben rescues Tracy from the sea, and
she was in there dancing.
Yes.
And I think she wanted to see sharks or something.
No, sharks
she
are
hinted
bad.
at, sharks are bad?
She was trying to die.
I thought she liked sharks.
Yes. No, she was trying to die.
She was trying to kill herself. And he rescued her from drowning, and the play opens with her waking up in his apartment, or his beach house at 4 in the morning. Mm-hmm. And progresses to the point where they have a relationship, and then we're going to get into spoiler territory.
For a 40-year-old play.
She gets pregnant and aborts it. So,
but
not at all where I was expecting it to go, by the way.
No. But she also reveals that she got pregnant on purpose.
Because she's crazy. It's weird to talk about. Neither character... Mallow. Good.
The cat is trying to join the conversation.
She's trying to eat the camera. You did not see the play, Marshmallow. You can't talk about it. I found that neither character in this play were likable.
I thought that he was. Weirdly enough, I thought that the male character was way more likable and sympathetic than the female character.
Yeah, she was manipulative and
it was
like irredeemably so.
It was one of those things where the phrase that kept popping into my head every time she talked was that your past trauma does not excuse... Your past abuse does not excuse the abuse that you're perpetuating now.
And the reason I didn't like him too much is that he stuck with it. And he had all these opportunities to not, and even threatened to not stick with the relationship. And in the end, he's still there wrapping a blanket around her because she's cold.
Which was a funny moment.
It was a funny moment. That is something that scripted well, was the humor. When there were jokes, even in like the dark scenes at the end, like she's yelling about a four-way she had in the back of a truck, and he just looks at her like they're both broke, and he just you want an award, and it's like little bits like that. And the whole opening scene is just full of great humor amidst like what is very clearly a traumatic situation. And I think it all hits really well, the humor does.
As opposed to the last play we went to where it was all humor until you got to the trauma.
Until you realized that there was trauma, yeah. Yeah, and the pre-abortion scene.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the scene, she basically tells him she's going to have the abortion, and he and I both agreed that it was really interesting. Mm-hmm. This play was written in 1974.
Yeah.
There was no demonization of the actual abortion process at all.
None at all. Which made me question when this play was written, because I didn't look it up beforehand, and I was like guessing like 70s, and then that came around, and I was like, maybe later?
Yeah.
But the way she's talking about it makes it seem like it's earlier. I don't know. But that whole scene, I think, is something that the play did actually very, very well. And she would make a point as to why she's getting an abortion. And as the audience was sitting there like, yeah, you're right. Go get your abortion. And then he would make a point, and as an audience, yeah, you're right. Stop her. And they both make
had a moral high
arguments.
ground.
And it
was one of those things. It really explored the argument of choice versus anti-choice.
The pro-choice versus pro-life, yeah.
Which was really interesting because all of his reasons for wanting the child were based in his own experience and not based on like an overarching thing, and all of her reasons for not wanting the child were the same way. They were all based in her own experience.
Like, I don't want a kid to grow up like me. I don't want, like my parents didn't want me. I don't want to have that same situation. And his was like, no, but it's part of me. Like, you plus me equals that, and that's ours. And that's
something she throws in his face at the end.
Yeah, it is.
She's trying to get a reaction out of him, and she yells something to the effect of, she's trying to get him angry, so she yells something to the effect of, that was our baby and I murdered it.
Yeah.
Which is parroting something that he says earlier.
Yes. But it's strange, going to the ending, she never gets that reaction out of him. She never gets him to explode or anything. Which I think is kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of wanted him to blow up. I wanted him to react.
Yeah.
Like, that's part of why I guess I didn't like the character, is he never actually let his emotions out, and he needed to.
I think
At least it was played that way.
Yeah. I think, though, there's a point where he decides not to. He's going to, but he decides not to. Because he knows that's what she wants.
I thought he was going to when she went to the fridge.
Overall, yeah. Overall, like, the female character, her entire motivation is transparent throughout the whole play. She is projecting all of her own insecurities onto... Tracy's projecting all of her own insecurities onto Ben. And it's patently obvious in the audience. And it's patently obvious to Ben. And I think to an extent it's even really obvious to Tracy, but she can't stop herself because that's how she protects herself.
Yeah.
And... It's a really interesting dynamic of him manipulating her. Manipulating isn't the right word, but he kind of turns her script on its head.
By not reacting the way she wants him to, yeah.
So she ends up doing what she wants to do, even though it's in direct opposition to what she says she wants. Like, there's a line where she says, if I want to stay, I'll go. If I want to go, I'll stay.
Yeah.
And
that kind of, like, theme runs throughout a lot of her dialogue, like... I don't want potato chips. Oh, okay, but you're gonna give me potato chips. Like, it's just little things like that.
And she has a very specific way that she wants her sandwich, but she doesn't comment on it once he gives it to her. And she also eats his sandwich, which is a totally different thing.
She doesn't finish either, because she doesn't finish anything. Sandwiches, pregnancies, relationships. Oh, too real?
She finishes a lot of relationships, apparently.
Oh, yes. Well, the only one we know about, he leaves her.
That's true.
So, maybe she didn't even finish her suicide well. She went and got rescued. Dark. That's dark. That's
a little dark.
A little dark.
A little dark.
A little grim dark. Yeah. But I mean, short play. It was pretty short. It was like about 90 minutes.
I don't think it could have been any longer.
I was ready for it to end about 5 minutes before it did.
Yeah.
About 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So it was like...
I also thought the pacing was really weird, which...
It had some weird pacing. Yeah.
The opening scene is like 30 minutes, and then you have like a 10-minute scene, and then you have the pre-abortion scene, which is like 15 minutes.
It's like you have this opening scene of like 35, 40 minutes, and then like a little 5-minute like coda to it. And then the act break. It
almost feels like it was written as a one act, and then he added...
Yeah.
It feels like Baby in the Bathwater, where the second act doesn't really mesh with the first act.
Yeah, there a little bit of symmetry in that the first act was middle of the night and then the next morning. And then I thought it was going to be the second act was middle of the night and then the next morning. And then it didn't end, and it went on to like that evening. And I kind of wanted the symmetry. It would have like... If they would have been able to write,
been her end, like her leaving to get the abortion was the end.
If he would have been able to fit everything that happened in that last scene into that second to last scene, and like shorten it a little bit, I think it could have worked better pacing wise, having that symmetry. But that threw me off, like a little off balance a little bit. But like that's just like little nitpicky theater school things.
Yeah.
It was definitely an enjoyable night out, I think. We had the performances covered up the downfalls of the play itself.
The
which
performances,
is what a good theater production should do.
Yeah, it bolstered the weaker parts of the script.
You don't want to ride on the laurels of a good play. You want to elevate
and even if
something less.
And even if
with good theater,
it is a good play, you want to elevate it. You
don't
do your best
to elevate it, or if it's something like Shakespeare.
Every single production of Midsummer Night's Dream ever.
Yeah, right. Ugh. The nipple tape. You weren't even there for the
I
nipple
wasn't
tape
even there.
It was awful. Why is a 6th grader singing Anarchy in the UK in the middle of this college theater production of Midsummer Night's Dream?
Be careful, the director might watch.
Nobody's going to watch this. If he watches... You know what? If you were the guy who directed that production, you know what production I'm talking about. Why were you thinking? Like, what? No. Although I guess the phrase college theater says it all.
College theater's not always bad.
No, but college theater is where you go to experiment with like weird stuff. Cherry Orchard.
Oh yeah.
Made my point. 2 words.
Clockwork.
Clockwork was good though. Clockwork like worked. We're just getting like inside jokes here now. That's what we got on.
Luna says hello.
She does. Both kitties. That's what we got on Seascape with Sharks and Dancer. Not the best play. Excellent performances. If you were in the LA area, that is still running at the Ventura Court Theater, 12417 Ventura Court in Studio City, California. We're seeing it on the 10th, so this will go up tomorrow. So tonight at 8 or tomorrow at 6, the 11th and 12th, 8 p.m. on the Saturday,
free
6
admission.
p.m. on the Sunday, completely free. And I think the door girl has wine.
She does.
So...
She does.
If you happen to see this and are in LA and can go check it out. It's a free night, free cheap date. Good restaurants nearby. Check out Green Apple Chinese Bistro.
There's a lemonade there as well. They have fantastic lemonade.
They do. That's why they call it lemonade. That's enough shilling for businesses that we are not getting paid to shill for. This is not a paid video. Tomorrow we're gonna look at again something a little bit different from my normal shenanigans. We're going to look at a comedy special.
Yes,
we are. We actually are. We're going to talk about stand-up comedy for a little bit. But until then, like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section below.
Tell us how we're totally wrong in our interpretation of this play.
Yeah, please do. Let me know. Because I didn't read it, just watched it. That's what I got. You can also follow me on Twitter at Daily Neitz. And until tomorrow, bye.